We have finally made it, probably like, what, 3 hours later, to Falls Church, Virginia. And we are here for a very special occasion. For those who don't know, it has been a year since my channel launched, and we're commemorating it. And how are we commemorating it?
A Gundam tattoo on him.
A Gundam tattoo. Another one. Go ahead and introduce yourself, let people know a little bit about you. Hi, my name is Angelo, and I'm aMilla Gunpla on YouTube. What made you start a Gunpla YouTube channel? So I technically started out on Twitch. I felt that there was an unfilled niche for building streams on Twitch, so I tried streaming on Twitch to see how I would do. I didn't really pick up on the fact that it takes a while to actually build your audience base. So I quickly switched over to YouTube. After doing that, I stuck with it, and you know, I'm here today a year later. Who are your YouTube inspirations? First and foremost, definitely Ronnie Sarmiento. He's one of my personal friends. We went to high school together. He actually has his own YouTube channel where he does a lot of videos about electric skateboards, electric longboards, and stuff like that. His channel is definitely way further than mine. I'm pretty sure he's almost at like 10 years on YouTube at this point. But from his experience, he's definitely been giving me a lot of tips and whatnot on how to grow your channel and how to keep audience retention and things like that. Aside from that, when I do more videography things like the cinematic builds that I do, I definitely pull more from Peter McKinnon and Daniel Schiffer. They're two really prominent photography and videography YouTubers. And honestly, a lot of the editing and the camera angles and stuff like that, I learn a lot from them. So a lot of my resources technically come from YouTube to get better at YouTube, if that makes sense. How long do you think you'll be on YouTube? Well, I'm getting this tattoo, so I'm dedicated to Gunpla at least. Well, I have to be. But I can definitely see myself doing this very long term. It's definitely one of the most fun hobbies I've had. It combines a lot of skills, including building and video editing, as well as kind of growing a personality. What things have changed over the past year? Well, first of all, I think something everyone notices is that production value has grown a lot over the past year. I actually found an old video of the first intro I made for the channel, and it is pretty bad. There's a part where it's supposed to be complete darkness and then I turn on a light, but you can like see me in the background in the shadow. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, once again, I've definitely improved a lot of my skills in video editing from other YouTubers and other resources like that. Another thing I would say that has changed over the past year is definitely my attitude towards the platform. I think going in, what my idea was, I want to fill this spot that I feel like is missing from the Gunpla community. And that spot being more cinematic things, more artistic things with Gunpla. Not necessarily just painting, but also being able to showcase that. You know, there's a lot of different people doing Gunpla photography, but not too many people doing Gunpla videography. And it's funny because I feel like I didn't notice Studio G until I started my channel, and he also ended up gaining a lot of traction around the same time when I started my channel. He's definitely another Gunpla tuber that has very nice cinematic builds where he paints a build and then he does some pretty good B-roll of it, and he also creates like dioramas for his builds. There are a few other Gunpla channels out there that have started to get more into the more cinematic vibe. I'm just gonna say it's a coincidence. I don't think those bigger channels are necessarily watching me, but it's pretty cool. I think it's good that the video art side of Gunpla is excelling. What is different about you as a builder? Honestly, I don't think as a builder that I'm that different from most people. I don't really do anything too unique to my builds. I do enjoy trying out different tools and whatnot, but aside from that, I'm a pretty casual builder, at least as of right now. I do want to get back into painting builds and doing more custom work like that. I do have one custom build that I've done in the past, and it's a high-grade wing Gundam that I painted to look like Farah from Overwatch, because Overwatch is probably my favorite video game, and the wing Gundam is probably the most similar Gundam to Farah in my opinion, either the wing Gundam or like one of the seed Gundams. Why is community important? I think community is important because that's probably the best way that you're going to be able to learn. Being able to share knowledge with someone and being able to receive knowledge from someone else, those are something you can't really do on your own. You need other people's wisdom and experience for something that you might not have experience with. I remember reading in my comment section one time that this one person had learned a lot of his techniques from people that were like in their 50s, because those people actually grew up doing model ships and model military vehicles and things like that. So they have a lot of experience with something that is somewhat mecha, and that experience was able to translate into Gunpla, which I think is pretty cool. What advice would you give to new builders? So one thing I keep in mind when I'm building kits, and also in general for life, I always like to think that each kit is going to be practice for the next kit. What that means is essentially whatever you're working on, you want it to be better than the last thing you worked on. If you can make even the smallest upgrade in technique, that's definitely a win, and it's something that you can carry on with you into future builds. So I could talk a lot about different tools and different kits you should go for, but I think that would probably be the most valuable piece of information I could give. Why don't you paint or add decals on any of your kits? So I will say that I do want to paint more. It's just a matter of not having a dedicated space, and I don't really want to set up and tear down like my spray booth and my airbrush and stuff like that. But to answer the question, I don't paint and I don't typically add decals, mostly because I want to share like the raw beauty of the kit that you get out of the box. You know, Bandai sends you these sheets of plastic and you snap it together. I pretty much want to capture what their vision is when you first complete that kit. That, and a lot of times I'm too lazy to add on decals. What are some things you learned since the start of your channel? I learned that the community really relies on itself for growth, which is pretty cool. A lot of people that have subscribed to me and that have joined the Discord, they're all new Gunpla builders, and it's also mixed with veteran Gunpla builders or intermediate Gunpla builders, and it's cool to see them interact with each other, saying, this is what I've done on a build, this is what you could do, this is what you should avoid, stuff like that. So going back to the community being one of the best places to learn, I think what I've learned is that, well, it's that that community is the best place to learn. What else do you have in store for the channel? Definitely more reviews. I think one thing I want to do with my reviews is make them a little more condensed. I think there's already plenty of channels out there that go into way specific detail. I don't necessarily think that I need to a lot of the times. I think a lot of people are really just looking for pros and cons for a kit. So I kind of want to just whittle down my review content to just pros and cons, and also add like a small cinematic trailer to showcase the kit, different poses it can do, different accessories and stuff like that. Definitely want to add more tutorials to the channel. I know there's a bunch of people that are wanting to learn certain techniques, how to do certain things. And it's kind of cool because the way I'm doing my tutorials is starting it from the base of building, where you're figuring out how to cut runners, how to get rid of nub marks, how to panel line, stuff like that. And eventually, as I grow as a builder and get more comfortable with the more advanced techniques used in customizing Gunpla, I want to make tutorials on that as well. But it's gonna wait until I'm pretty comfortable with the techniques, because I don't really want to share information on stuff that I'm not too certain about. I want to have that personal experience before I share it with other people. Aside from those, I want to do Gunpla challenges. Kind of more unique videos to add some more fun elements, some more humorous elements into Gunpla building, and kind of just like project more of my personal personality into my content. I think a lot of my friends find me as a pretty goofy guy, and a lot of times when I'm just talking about like technical things about kits or tools, I don't necessarily get to showcase that with my audience, and I really want them to get to know who I really am. So those videos are something that I really want to get into. Did you ever think your channel would grow? I did think it would grow. I didn't think it would grow this fast. You know, you see a bunch of YouTube channels out there, they have like 1 to 5 million subscribers, and they're these huge channels on these like really broad subjects. Then you get to more niche subjects like Gunpla, and you see that the top channels in this niche are like 300,000 subscribers, 150,000 subscribers, stuff like that. And you kind of don't really feel like there's a lot of audience to be gained there, but there really is. And a lot of my audience is actually a lot of people who have just started building, you know, because of the coronavirus quarantining and things like that. People are picking up this hobby more and more, and with picking up a new hobby, obviously they're going to be looking for tutorials and things like that to help them out. What is your favorite mobile suit? I've talked about this on stream pretty often. My favorite mobile suit is Gundam Barbatos for sure. If you couldn't tell already by the tattoo, that is. So the story behind that, growing up, my biggest exposure to model kits were Zoids kits. And if you don't know what Zoids are, it's pretty much a bunch of animals, dinosaurs, but they're all robots, and they're essentially animal Gundams. So Gundam Barbatos and a lot of other mobile suits in Iron-Blooded Orphans, they all have this really primal feel to them, very savage feel, and they more closely resemble Zoids to me, which is why I resonate with Gundam Barbatos. Where do you think the future of Gunpla is headed? I think it's headed in a pretty good direction for us as a community. Bandai definitely seems to have noticed their increasing market in the United States, or in the West in general. That can be measured by the opening of the P Bandai US store. And especially with the recent announcement that the latest Gundam movie is coming to Netflix, I think that's a pretty big deal. Netflix is a big thing in the United States, so yeah, I think the outlook for us as builders is gonna be pretty good, as long as they don't keep releasing new unicorn kits every year. What would you do if you won the lottery? First, definitely hire a financial advisor. I think that's the smartest thing you should be doing when you first win the lottery. But after saving the money I need to save, investing the money I need to invest, I would probably say get a dedicated studio and just keep building Gunpla. I mean, I would have the time if I quit my job. I'd have the resources I would need. So I think that would keep me set. So unfortunately, that is all we could get done with today's session. I will be going back in maybe about 12, 13 days for a touch-up to get some more color done and to get some shading done. But I think you did a great job so far. By the way, this is my friend Dustin, aka Tenzin Tats, aka Vicious Version on Instagram, so go ahead and check his page out as well. Definitely been a great year. I think it's been fun. I don't think I could have asked for a better first year on YouTube. Super thankful for my community, especially my Discord and everyone in there. Shout out to you guys. You guys are all great. If you do want to be a part of that community, definitely click the link down below in the description. Alongside that, I also have an Instagram where I post news about the channel. I post pictures of my kits, as well as the cinematic videos that I make for each of my reviews. And also because of some peer pressure from some people in the Discord, I have decided to open up a Patreon. Right now, it is purely donation. I don't have any merch to sell yet. I do plan on getting some out for the future. But if you do want to support the channel, feel free to check out that Patreon and donate $1, $3, or $5 a month. Definitely not required, completely optional, and up to you. And lastly, I just want to say that I am super excited to kick off season 2 and excited for what's in store for it, and excited to start doing some more new things. So as usual, go ahead, pick up a kit, and start building.